Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Bayonetta 2 walkthrough. It's time for Chapter 16, Sovereign Power, and the end of Bayonetta 2. This isn't the final part. I've had to split this into two because of the slight issue of the fact that this entire chapter is quite long.
That's all you've got?
It's an hour long.
What is this place?
We're in my time. But there's not a moment to explain. We need to get to the sacred mountain now.
What is upon the mountain?
I don't know, but it's where the god who created the eyes of the world once lived. And now someone is after that power.
The eyes. How can we reach that place? We are in Vigrid.
Time to jump!
Jump?
That wasn't a request. Go!
Have you lost your sanity?
Sanity is a requirement for our...
And your kind are?
The kind of witches you don't fuck with. I have to admit, I like you much better this way, Balder. You actually shut up and follow directions.
I do what I choose. Tell me, how do you know my name?
It's, just the name I heard that witch, the one you called Rosa, call out to you. Anyway, this should get us to Fimbulventer at Mach speed.
I would not be so sure of that, witch.
My. Angels and demons working together. I suppose if they can get along, we can as well.
Consider this a momentary truce. At least until the encroachers are punished.
Well, that's one way of putting it. Here's mine. Time to tango.
And so we get to begin the Jet Fighter Assault. Oh, I do love the kind of Bayonetta and Balder decide to work together. It's great, and this entire sequence is glorious. I mean, I'd say it's a little bit cheaper than the Space Harrier homage in Bayonetta 1, if only because the ship is kind of much wider, and it feels a lot looser and it's easier to get hit, I feel. But it's much less kind of aggravating on the eyes when you dodge. No idea quite why, Jeanne knew to come and pick us up from Vigrid, but okay. It's still a wonderful moment. But I also love that they made reference to that absolutely beautiful line that Bayonetta uses when she does the climax on Balder in the first game, because that is one of the most beautiful moments in a video game I have ever seen. Just her cocking the gun and just saying, "Don't fuck with a witch," and then shooting. It's just beautiful and so well done. So to have that kind of reference when she's talking to Balder is just quite nice, really. But it does bring up something that I wish this game did, and that is it needed so desperately to have its kind of own badass closing attack statement. But we never get any. And it's just like, I want my Bayonetta to be the complete and utter badass that I know. I want her to be kind of basically insulting her enemies as she slaughters them. This game desperately needed a "don't fuck with a witch" moment, and it's just never there. Now, it has been stated that this does go on a little bit longer than it should do, and it does. especially considering there is a bewitchment that you can get from it by killing all of the enemies that you face, which is most definitely easier said than done. It's something that I'm going to attempt to do, but it's only going to happen on the lowest difficulty, I feel. I don't think I'm quite good enough to kill all of the enemies on anything higher than first climax. I mean, considering I've played through the game now, as I'm doing this recording, I've done it on second climax and third climax. I need to go through on first climax and also attempt infinite climax if I'm going to show off everything. But now we can start facing off against demons, and yeah, this does go on for probably way too long, and to be perfectly honest, I would have preferred to have had, well, what I would have liked to have happened in this game, and it would have, I think, improved this overall concluding stuff quite nicely, is have the whole jet fighter thing to get to the mountain. But then to, once you get to the mountain, have an entire level kind of climbing up it. Because as it stands, what's just going to happen is we're just going to get to the mountain and then, oh, final boss. It's just like, oh, that kind of came out of nowhere. So having kind of an entire level climbing up the mountain, facing off against the angels that we've spent, and the demons that we've spent the entire game facing off against, I think it just would have made for a much more satisfying conclusion than what we get here. And I feel bad for kind of seemingly harping on at this game so much, because I do love it to pieces. Like, it's insane. I mean, pretty much most people know that I am a massive fan of Bayonetta and Platinum Games and Hideki Kamiya, because, like, I don't blooming shut up about them. But I think the reason that I nitpick so much is because I do want I want to have kind of the perfect game in my view. And I just feel that Bayonetta 2, while it's absolutely excellent, just misses. And that's a shame. Also, I probably should have brought this up earlier, but there's a really absolutely beautiful Easter egg that happens in this mission if you are wearing a particular costume. What is it, you may ask? Well, I would spoil it, but seeing as I'm actually going to show off the Easter egg, I will leave it as a surprise until then. But wearing a certain costume leads to a certain change to the jet fighter assault sequence. It's beautiful.
We're here, kid. Right on the front door of that temple you were so damn determined to get to. Not sure if they're gonna roll out the red carpet for us.
Wrong one, mate. You should be looking for your better half.
You've got your memories back. Convenient. But you're certainly not looking like my better half. The only thing you have to offer me is your sovereign power. Then you will be truly worthless.
temple.
And so to the rather awesome song of To the Sovereign Quarters, all that stands between us and the final boss of this game is some stairs. But either way, there is our final Broken Witch Heart, which means our final Witch Heart and full health. And sitting just over here is our final Muspelheim of the game. Now, I thought I will go in with Takumi Kazuchi and use its insane power to kind of get me through this ridiculously difficult Muspelheim. As you will see, that plan didn't quite end up following through. After numerous failures, I ended up going with, I believe, the tried and trusted method of Undine and Salamandra. Because this is, without a doubt, the most difficult Muspelheim in the game. Don't get hit fighting against an allegiance. And an incredibly violent one. It's just ridiculous. Now, I quite thankfully made this particular run look easy. It's not. The amount of tries that took me was unreal. But thankfully, it's complete, which means we've completed all of the Muspelheims. There is our final Broken Moon Pearl, which means that we have full health and full magic. And it means that we are fully prepared to go and take on the final boss of the game. And you may be wondering, well, what's gonna just fill out this last little bit? Well, we've got one more Journal Echo to pick up. We've also got one more Umber and Tears of Blood, but that's further up the stairs. But yeah, we're going to be finishing the story of Bayonetta 2 next part. Bloody hell. Here we go. An audience with... It is said that God waits at the top of Fimbulventr, guiding those who visit him with his wisdom so they may find their true path. To those living below, the top of the mountain looked to always be facing the most harsh, frigid conditions, but the Sovereign Quarters somehow remain isolated from all this, an area both peaceful and serene with a perfect view of the starry sky. Perhaps this was necessary to keep an accurate record of the stars' movements and the current happenings in the world. It is said that learned scholars of the past had a magnificent grasp of astronomy. I think it is probably because God imparted this wisdom unto them. What's piqued my interest is a rumour about the gates leading to both Inferno and Paradiso at the mountain's summit. Maybe God had those gates near his dwelling to watch over those worlds along with ours. Seeing if they really exist would be worth checking out. The path to the mountain has crumbled away as time triumphed over it, leaving the other side blocked off forever, but to a fearless adventurer like myself, that sounds like just the challenge I've been waiting for.